powerful never wait for permission. They take what others hesitate to claim. The weak beg for approval, the strong acquire in silence. In this video, I will show you the dark rule of seizing power before anyone can stop you. Every empire begins not with applause, but with quiet theft. Power is not granted. It is taken, often unseen, until it is too late for anyone to resist. In a world where men are distracted by appearances, the one who dares to act in silence becomes the architect of control. To understand this principle is to understand the very engine of domination. If you still believe opportunity is offered fairly, you are already defeated. Let us peel back the illusion and study how one acquires power without asking, without announcing, and without mercy. Power begins with a lie. The lie that you must be granted it, that you must ask, that you must wait for approval. This is the first leash society ties around your neck. From childhood, you are told to raise your hand before you speak, to stand in line, to wait until authority points in your direction. The obedient child grows into the obedient man, and the obedient man becomes easy prey for the one who dares to act without permission. Ask yourself, who taught you that waiting is virtue? Who benefits from your hesitation? Certainly not you. It is those already in power, those who know that as long as you are conditioned to seek approval, you will never challenge them. History offers countless examples. Think of Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon. He was forbidden by law to bring his army into Rome. Every senator demanded compliance. Yet Caesar acted, he asked no one, and with a single step into forbidden territory, he seized the fate of an empire. The Senate, with all its rules and authority, collapsed before the man who chose action over permission. This is the cruel truth. Rules are designed to preserve the power of those who made them. They are not chains on the ruler, but cages for the ruled. Do you see? By waiting for approval, you accept the terms of a game rigged against you. Psychologically, the need for permission is rooted in fear. Fear of punishment, fear of rejection, fear of being seen as dangerous. Yet, paradoxically, it is precisely those who appear dangerous, those who step outside the approved path, that others eventually follow. People respect the one who moves with certainty, even if that certainty breaks the law. Consider the workplace, a modern battlefield of ambition. Most employees hesitate to take initiative, waiting for their manager's nod for formal recognition. Meanwhile, a cunning colleague quietly takes on tasks, makes decisions, and positions themselves as indispensable, without ever being asked. By the time others notice, that person is no longer an employee among equals. They are seen as a leader. Why does this work? Because most men are paralyzed by the thought of disapproval. They assume authority is watching. They assume there will be consequences. Yet, in truth, authority is often too distracted, too lazy, or too divided to punish swift, decisive action. You fear an enemy that is weaker than you imagine. Think again of the moments in your own life. Opportunities lost because you waited. Chances to speak, to act, to claim something, passed by because you were searching for a sign that it was allowed. And when another person took what you desired, you justified it to yourself. They must have had permission. No, they had courage. Here lies the essence of the illusion. Authority rarely grants power willingly. It only recognizes it after it has already been taken. The king does not knight a man to make him strong. He knights him after he has proven strength, often in defiance of the king's own comfort. Even religion understood this principle. The bold reformer, the prophet, the heretic, all began as rebels acting without permission. Institutions labeled them dangerous, yet followers gathered, drawn not by obedience but by defiance. Men instinctively admire those who dare to step beyond the lines. Ask yourself when you meet someone who never asks, who moves as if the world belongs to them. Do you despise them, or are you unsettled? The truth is, you respect them. Envy and admiration mix into the same emotion. Deep down, you wish you had acted as they did. The great strategist knows this. He does not announce his rebellion. He does not wait for the nod of approval. He acts in silence, allowing results to justify the boldness. And once results appear, the same men who would have denied him suddenly rally to his side, pretending they supported him all along. Such is human nature. We rewrite history to align with whoever proves victorious. So I ask you, how much of your life is spent waiting? Waiting for someone to tell you it is time. Waiting for permission that will never come. Each moment of hesitation is an opportunity gifted to another. The illusion of permission is the first wall you must break. Shatter it, and you step into a new world, one where power is not given, but taken. And yet, knowing this is not enough. For the silent acquisition of power requires more than simply ignoring rules. It demands stealth, timing, and a mask. Power is not always won by force. It is often stolen in silence. The most dangerous strike is not the one that announces itself with noise and banners, but the one carried out so quietly that no one realizes they have already lost. Think of it: a snake does not roar before it bites. A thief does not declare his intentions at the door. True acquisition is subtle. It arrives unnoticed, and only afterward do men awaken to discover that the ground beneath them has already shifted. History remembers loud conquerors, but it is the silent operators who shape the destiny of nations. Consider Octavian, later known as Augustus. When Julius Caesar was murdered, Rome expected chaos. Many powerful men, louder and more aggressive, tried to seize control. Mark Antony roared with speeches, promising vengeance and strength. But Octavian stayed quiet. He pretended to be weak and inexperienced youth. He played the role of a humble heir, and while others shouted, he built alliances in the shadows, purchased loyalty, and quietly positioned himself as indispensable. By the time his rivals realized the truth, Rome already belonged to him. Why did this work? Because most people only see what is noisy, what is public. They are blinded by spectacle. While their eyes are fixed on the loudest man in the room, they overlook the quiet one gathering the real weapons of power: loyalty, resources, leverage. Have you not seen this in your own world? In offices, the ambitious man who talks loudly about his plans rarely rises. Instead, it is the one who listens, who nods, who appears harmless, while quietly building relationships, that one day appears above all others. His rise looks sudden, almost mysterious, because no one noticed the silent strikes he had been delivering for years. This is the essence of psychological warfare: conceal the hand that strikes. Make your moves invisible, so that when your power is revealed, it feels inevitable, even natural. Why does silence work so well? Because it disarms suspicion. Humans are conditioned to watch for threats that declare themselves. We fear the barking dog, not the one waiting patiently in the shadows. Yet it is the silent dog that kills without warning. The loud man inspires defenses, the quiet one slips past them. Here lies a paradox. People claim they value honesty and transparency, yet they instinctively reward the opposite. They follow the man who acts without announcing, because his results appear like fate itself. They do not see his plotting, they only see the finished conquest. And when the outcome is clear, most men are eager to align themselves with the victor, even if they were his enemy yesterday. Think of corporate boardrooms. The loud executive campaigns openly for leadership, making speeches about vision and strategy. Meanwhile, another quietly builds alliances with shareholders, cultivates whispers of doubt about his rival, and ensures the right people see him as the safe choice. When the time comes, the vote swings silently in his favor. His rival is shocked, still shouting, but his voice no longer matters. The decision was already made in silence. Now, reflect on your own instincts. Do you crave recognition? Do you feel the need to announce your plans, to make others see your ambition? That urge is poison. The more you reveal, the more resistance you invite. Each declaration of intent is a warning to your enemies, a signal for them to fortify. But when you act without words, when your movements are invisible, you face no resistance, because no one knows what to resist. The silent strike is not merely secrecy. It is strategy. It is timing. It is the art of allowing your rivals to destroy themselves with noise, while you gather the fruits of their distraction. It is letting them expose their ambitions, while you cloak yours. It is ensuring that by the time they recognize your rise, their weapons are useless. So, I ask you, are you loud or are you invisible? Do you seek to impress with noise, or do you position yourself so quietly that when you strike, the blow is already complete before your victim can react? Understand this: the silent strike is not cowardice. It is the highest form of cunning. It is war waged in whispers, victories claimed without blood, domination achieved before the battle even begins. But silence alone is not enough. Once power is seized, it must be made to appear natural. It must be cloaked so well that no one dares question it. Power is not only what you hold, it is what others believe you hold. The greatest advantage is not brute strength, but the ability to shape how others see you. Do you understand? Reality matters less than perception. Men live not by truth, but by appearances. And if you control appearances, you control men. History proves this endlessly. Consider Alexander of Macedon. He was outnumbered again and again, facing armies twice the size of his own. Yet his enemies often fled before the battle even began. Why? Because Alexander cultivated the perception of being unstoppable. He spread stories of his divine birth, exaggerated his victories, and paraded himself like a figure larger than life. His enemies did not fight the man, they fought the myth. And myths are impossible to defeat. This is the secret: if you appear harmless while quietly growing strong, no one resists you. But if you appear strong once you already hold strength, no one dares challenge you. Appearances are weapons sharper than swords. Look at politics today. The clever politician rarely says, "I want power." Instead, he presents himself as a servant, a friend of the people, even while pulling strings behind the curtain. Voters never see the raw ambition, they see the mask. And because they see the mask, they submit willingly. The perception of virtue hides the reality of conquest. Have you not seen this at work in daily life? The man who acts as though he is less intelligent than he is, hiding his calculations behind a smile. The woman who pretends disinterest while quietly positioning herself to win influence. Their rivals underestimate them. Their enemies sleep, and when the moment comes, their victory feels sudden, inevitable. Perception is power because men are lazy thinkers. They do not investigate deeply, they accept the surface. Most will never ask, "Is this true?" They will only ask, "What does it look like?" The wise man exploits this weakness, shaping what they see until truth no longer matters. Psychologically, appearances trigger instinct. If you look harmless, men lower their guard. If you look decisive, they assume you are right. If you look confident, they interpret it as competence. And once perception settles in the mind, it hardens like stone. Few ever question what they already believe. Consider the corporate world again. A manager who is mediocre but dresses with precision, speaks with calm authority, and never shows uncertainty will be respected far more than a skilled worker who mumbles, hesitates, and dresses poorly. The difference is not ability, it is perception, and perception creates hierarchy. Now, imagine applying this to your own life. What mask do you wear? Do people see you as useful, harmless, indispensable? Or do they see your ambition naked, leaving you exposed to resistance? Understand this. Ambition unmasked breeds enemies. Ambition cloaked breeds followers. Think again of rulers. A king who taxes ruthlessly but cloaks it as divine will face no rebellion. A king who taxes lightly but admits greed invites hatred. It is not the action but the perception of the action that decides loyalty. So ask yourself, how do you appear to others? What stories circulate about you? What weaknesses do they think they see? Are those weaknesses real, or are they carefully placed illusions? A wise man sometimes pretends to be weaker than he is, just as a hunter pretends to be asleep to lure prey. Deception of perception is the art of baiting others into false confidence. But do not mistake this for mere trickery. It is strategy. Men live in shadows of belief, and the ruler is the one who casts the longest shadow. If you fail to control how others see you, they will control it for you. They will define you. They will cage you inside their interpretation. Never allow this. Take the mirror from their hands and place it in yours. Make them see only what you wish reflected. If you desire obedience, appear just. If you desire fear, appear ruthless. If you desire freedom to act, appear harmless. And always remember the mask is more powerful than the face. Control perception, and you hold the leash of the human mind. Fail to control it, and you will forever be bound by the judgments of others. But appearances alone are fragile if you do not understand how to exploit hesitation. The mask opens the door, but seizing the moment demands something sharper. Power often belongs not to the strongest, but to the one who acts while others wait. Hesitation is the silent ally of the cunning. It delays the rival, paralyzes the crowd, and opens a door for the decisive man to walk through unopposed. Think of it, how many empires have fallen because men paused, debated, or doubted, and how many were built by men who moved while others still argued. History's stage is littered with examples. When the Persians threatened Greece, many cities hesitated, torn between surrender and resistance. Athens, however, acted. They burned their own city, evacuated their people, and turned their navy into the shield of Greece. The others were still discussing, but Athens had already chosen. That choice shaped the course of civilization itself. Hesitation is more than delay, it is weakness exposed. A hesitant rival shows you he cannot commit. He fears consequence, he calculates endlessly, he seeks reassurance. And while he trembles between options, you strike. The moment he pauses, the balance of power tilts toward you. Have you not seen this in daily life? In business, in relationships, in politics. The deal is offered, and most wait, thinking they will have time. But one man signs quickly, and the opportunity is gone. The woman stands at a crossroads of two suitors, one hesitates, the other acts, and her choice is sealed. The company debates a bold move into a new market. While they wait, a smaller competitor seizes it and grows beyond reach. Why do people hesitate? Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of regret. Fear of being judged wrong. They wait for certainty that never arrives. But life does not reward certainty, it rewards movement. The decisive man may risk more, but he also seizes more. And here lies the truth: the world belongs to the bold, not because they are always right, but because they act while others are still thinking. Psychologically, hesitation is contagious. If one man doubts, others around him begin to doubt. An army that pauses before a charge begins to collapse, not from swords but from uncertainty. Fear multiplies in silence. Delay spreads weakness, yet decisiveness is equally contagious. One strong action can ignite the will of the many, turning hesitation into momentum. Do you see the weapon here? If you can create hesitation in your enemy, you can defeat him without battle. Cast doubt into his mind, confuse his choices, present him with too many paths, and while he hesitates, you strike the one path he did not guard. Confusion is the father of hesitation, and hesitation is the mother of defeat. Think of Hannibal at Cannae. He faced a Roman army twice the size of his own. The Romans hesitated in their strategy, torn between caution and aggression. Hannibal exploited this. He lured them into the center, allowed their uncertainty to stretch their lines, and then collapsed upon them from the sides. Their hesitation to choose a single firm approach became their undoing. In your own life, have you not lost moments because you waited? Opportunities to speak, to act, to seize something before anyone else noticed. You tell yourself, I must think. But by the time you have thought, another has acted, and you are left watching, regretting, envying. The strategist must understand, hesitation is not only to be avoided in himself, but to be cultivated in others. Encourage your rivals to wait. Feed them endless information. Surround them with options. Whisper to them the dangers of each choice. Make them believe that patience is wisdom, when in truth, their patience is your opening. Do not mistake recklessness for decisiveness. The decisive man does not act blindly. He calculates quickly, then commits fully. The reckless man acts without thought. The hesitant man thinks without end. Both fall. The victor is the one who balances thought with speed, reflection with execution. So I ask you, are you decisive, or are you still waiting? How many moments have passed you by because you sought reassurance, because you demanded certainty in a world where certainty does not exist? The one who hesitates is already conquered. His defeat simply has not yet been announced. But decisiveness alone is not enough. Once you strike, you must ensure the world accepts it, even embraces it. The mask of legitimacy must follow the act, or the act will collapse under scrutiny. Seizing power is only the first step. Keeping it requires something far more delicate. For raw conquest invites resistance, but conquest dressed as legitimacy invites obedience. Men hate the thief, yet they worship the king, even if both acquired their power by the same theft. The difference lies not in the act, but in the mask worn afterward. History proves this without mercy. Consider William of Normandy. He invaded England, slaughtered rivals, and crowned himself king. His rule began with force. But he did not leave it at that. He wrapped his conquest in ceremony, religion, and law. He called himself not a usurper, but a rightful sovereign chosen by God. And the English, though conquered, bent their knee, not merely to his sword, but to the mask of legitimacy he crafted. Do you see the lesson? Violence alone wins battles, but legitimacy secures empires. Men will resist the conqueror they view as unlawful, but they will defend the ruler they believe is rightful, even if both are the same man. This is why every revolution seeks symbols. Robespierre in France cloaked his terror in the language of virtue and liberty. The Bolsheviks wrapped their brutality in the rhetoric of equality. Even the church cloaked its power in divine authority, turning obedience into salvation. The masses rarely question the mask. They accept it because it soothes their conscience. It allows them to bow without shame. Have you not seen this in modern life? A corporate leader seizes control of a company, ousting rivals in backroom maneuvers. But once in power, he issues statements about vision and service to the mission. Employees, though displaced and fearful, accept him because he has clothed his ambition in the garments of necessity. He does not appear a schemer. He appears inevitable. This is the art. Once you seize power, you must rewrite the story of how it happened. Men will not tolerate naked ambition, but they will defend ambition if they believe it was destiny, justice, or the natural order. Psychologically, the mask of legitimacy works because men crave certainty. They hate chaos. They prefer to believe the ruler sits on the throne for a reason, even if that reason is fabricated. To admit otherwise would expose the fragility of their world. And so, they accept the story told to them, no matter how false. Ask yourself, what mask do you wear when you rise? Do you let others see the blood on your hands, or do you wash it away with the illusion of virtue? Do you present your climb as selfish, or as service to something greater than yourself? Understand this. People will forgive your cruelty if they believe it serves order. They will even call you just. This is why rulers stage rituals, create laws, and appeal to higher powers. It is not truth, it is theater. The oath of office, the crown upon the head, the holy blessing, these are not symbols of reality, but instruments of perception. They turn the conqueror into the guardian, the usurper into the chosen. And yet, legitimacy need not come from religion or law alone. Sometimes it is enough to appear competent, inevitable, irreplaceable. The successful man often appears legitimate simply because success itself blinds people to the methods behind it. They reason backward. He must deserve it, for he has achieved it. They mistake outcome for justice. Think carefully. How many leaders do you admire not because of their morality, but because of their results? Their victories make them legitimate in your eyes. You do not ask whether they deceived, betrayed, or killed to achieve them. You only ask, did they win? This is the mask in its purest form, the rewriting of ambition into destiny. Once power is yours, legitimacy must follow, or your throne will forever shake. The world does not tolerate naked theft for long. The crowd demands justification, and the wise ruler gives it to them, not truth, but comfort. So remember, take boldly, but cloak wisely. Show the sword only once, afterward, let the robe and crown hide it. Because conquest creates power, but legitimacy sustains it. And without sustaining power, you will not rule long. But even with legitimacy secured, the story does not end. For every throne, no matter how well disguised, carries shadows of danger. And to survive them, you must understand the hidden rules of control itself. That, my friend, is the lesson waiting beyond the mask. Power is never declared, it is exercised in silence. The strongest rulers are not the ones who shout their commands, but the ones who guide men without those men realizing they are being guided. Control hidden is control absolute. You let others believe they are free, while every choice they make serves your design. Is that not the highest form of domination? History remembers those who mastered this. The emperor who appeared merciful while crushing dissent. The leader who cloaked ambition beneath service. The strategist who let rivals believe they won, even as they danced on his strings. Ask yourself, are you the one being led, or the one pulling the unseen threads? If you are ready to study these darker truths of power, then stay with me. Comment your thoughts below, your victories, your failures, your observations of control. Subscribe for more strategies drawn from the shadows of history and psychology, and share this with those who think they see clearly, when in truth they are already blind. The mask wins. Always.